Iran fires ballistic missiles at Israel, sending people into shelters. We take a look at the growing conflict in the Middle East.
The vice presidential debate between J.D. Vance and Tim Walz is happening tonight. We talk to students to find out what they want to hear. And a pink police cruiser was unveiled this morning to honor Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We spoke with representatives who gave speeches at the event.
Annenberg TV News is next.
Sirens blared and missiles boomed in Israel. This after a series of attacks by Israel in Lebanon. I'm Brian Saravia.
Iran fired almost 200 missiles at Israel as the Middle East conflict widens. And I'm Kofo Jalaosho.
Okay, guys, we got to get off the roof. These are coming down right next to us.
Iran says that it fired missiles at Israel in response to the assassinations of top Hamas and Hezbollah leaders. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu says Iran, quote, made a big mistake and will pay for it. The Pentagon has been following the situation closely.
Initial reports indicate that Israel was able to intercept the majority of incoming missiles and that there was minimal damage on the ground. But I'd refer you to Israel for confirmation, and any questions on that as they're in a better position to discuss.
Video shot from a balcony in Herzliya shows missiles making impact in a civilian zone. It is unclear whether the attacks are meant to target military or civilian areas.
Iran is sort of in the parental role in this, and they need to do something to respond. It's a matter of political showmanship to a certain extent.
The United States will be trying to reintroduce itself as a restraining influence on Israel. Whether that will work or whether Netanyahu even wants to give the impression that he can be restrained or would take advice from another place is open to question.
The Israeli military reports no casualties from the attack and thanks the U.S. for its support of Israel's defense efforts.
Democrat Tim Walz and Republican J.D. Vance are meeting tonight for the first and only vice presidential debate. The candidates will take the stage in New York City at the CBS Broadcast Center without an audience. CBS News anchors Nora O'Donnell and Margaret Brennan will ask the questions. The 90-minute debate starts at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Our reporter Malcolm Caminero is in the forum of Walz Annenberg Hall, where students are gathering to watch the debate. We'll toss it over to Malcolm.
Thank you, Brian. I'm currently standing in Walz Annenberg Hall ahead of the vice presidential debate. Both candidates can be expected to be asked questions about their respective platforms, with today's Iranian missile strike on Israel being a big topic. They can also expect to be asked about accessibility to healthcare, abortions, and LGBTQ rights. We hear from students about what they want to hear out of the debate.
Well, I think Walz can definitely speak on his policies with Harris. That's something that hasn't been spoken about very much, but JD and Trump don't really have viable plans that they ever talk about, even in their rallies.
I definitely think it's going to be interesting, but I think overall the debate's not super informative. It's just a lot of dodging questions, similar to how the presidential debate was. I'm hoping to see the vice presidents actually answer the questions and talk about their policy agendas instead of making personal attacks.
Now, the two candidates differ in many areas, especially when it comes to abortion and LGBTQ rights. But when it comes to gun control, one of the hottest topics as of late, the vice president nominees have more in common than they seek, but have very different initiatives.
General success is both candidates need to persuade voters to vote for their candidate, for their president, and then to really attack the other president. The VP debate is an excellent time for the VP to go after the opposing presidential candidate. And so less about each other, but more about really hitting Trump and really hitting Harris.
The candidates will take stage in New York City at the CBS Broadcast Center without a live audience. We're nearly 20 minutes from the debate, and be sure to tune in for more. From Annenberg Media, I'm Malcolm Caminero.
Governor Gavin Newsom has been busy passing and vetoing legislation. Let's head over to our political reporter, Dalia Sarmiento, to hear more about it.
Thanks, Kofo. The bill signed into law will affect everything from local elections to IVF treatments. Local governments in California will be barred from requiring residents to present identification to vote in elections. The law was signed by Governor Newsom this weekend, and it marks California one of 14 states to not require voter ID at the polls. The law responds to a controversial ballot approved in Huntington Beach that would have required voter identification at the polls and increased surveillance over ballot boxes while providing more options for in-person voting. Huntington Beach was sued by the California Attorney General and Secretary of State for violating voter rights. We talked to a Huntington Beach City Council member about the new law.
Voter identification and verification is a matter of statewide concern. If it was not, we could potentially have, 400 different cities with 400 different requirements for people's identification that they would need to present at the polls when they go to vote. And that is not the type of situation that we want to have. That just creates confusion and chaos.
The voter ID law will take effect on January 1st. It aims to prevent local governments from establishing policies based on concerns about widespread voter fraud that are unfounded. The voter ID bill...
Infertility is a disease, and it needs to be covered by medical insurance, same as any other disease. And it was only in 2017, by the way, 7 years ago, that we got the World Health Organization to recognize infertility as a disease. And we've been making sort of baby steps since then. So I am delighted that we now have a mandate that is actually really going to require honest-to-God coverage.
The IVF bill comes as a response to the Senate's blocking of legislation to establish a national right to in vitro fertilization. The bill will require health insurance companies to provide coverage for the treatment of infertility services.
Everybody, no matter of whether you have a marriage to a husband or a same-sex marriage or the entire LGBTQ community, everyone is going to have access to IVF. And it doesn't matter what your socioeconomic status is or where you live, the state of California is supporting you.
The bill is also supported by LGBTQ rights groups who say that the treatment coverage provides equitable reproductive care by not making queer couples pay more out of pocket to start families.
Thank you, Dahlia. Today begins a new era of Mexican politics. Claudia Sheinbaum was sworn in as the nation's first female president. She is also the first scientist and the first of Jewish heritage. The ceremony was held earlier today in Mexico City and was attended by a number of political figures, including First Lady Jill Biden. The new president shared her victory with the women and girls of Mexico, saying it was time for a transformation.
Nombremos presidenta. Con A al final.
Sheinbaum said women should be named presidents, lawyers, scientists, firefighters, doctors, engineers, and more, for women have been taught that if they don't name it, it doesn't exist. The crowd then chanted Presidenta, Spanish for female president. Sheinbaum said she looks forward to working with the U.S. on immigration and trade. Her policies focus on protecting the rights of migrants crossing through Mexico.
A pink police cruiser? The Burbank Police unveiled the pink car to recognize Breast Cancer Awareness Month. This is the 7th year that the department has teamed up with Rapix Imaging. The goal is to remind women to get regular screenings for early detection of breast cancer.
My family has been impacted by breast cancer. Recently impacted. We have people in this building that's been impacted by breast cancer. So the theme would be is that if a woman sees a pink patch, sees a pink cruiser, it may be give them some initiative to get tested to make sure that they're good.
Something that we felt very fortunate about that we got to couple with Burbank, our hometown. So just getting to do this is our little contribution back to the community and saying, hey, let's make more people aware about this. Let's do what we can to do our part. We hope that other people get enjoyment from it, and we hope that it does bring some sort of awareness to the cause that the Burbank PD is behind and that everybody should be behind at this point.
A report from the American Cancer Society says breast cancer rates in younger women have increased by about 1.4% every year since 2021.
Former U.S. President Jimmy Carter turned 100 years old today. He's the oldest former president and the first former president to reach the century mark. The White House posted a happy 100th sign on its front lawn. The former president is known for his work with the nonprofit group Habitat for Humanity, and in 2002 earned the Nobel Peace Prize for his work promoting human rights. The former president has told relatives he plans to stick, quote, until October 15th, when early voting begins in Georgia.
Just ahead, a look at how USG is expanding Awareness Month for National Disability Employment Awareness Month.
A new Spanish language children's bookstore is now open. We talk with the bookstore owner about what she's hoping the store will do for the community.
And Academic Integrity Week began yesterday. We take a look at the variety of events planned to promote the cause. All that and more after the break.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latine voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all.
Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dímelo Ahora.
Radio and podcasting.
Comida y cultura. Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo, we have it all.
Dímelo, we have it all.
Mr. Owl, how many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Roll center of a Tootsie Pop?
Let's find out. 1, 2, 3.
How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? The world may never know.
There's a new pet.
Chia.
Chia Pet, the pottery that grows. It's fun and easy. Soak your chia, spread the seeds, keep it watered, and watch it grow. And now grow a whole collection of fun with Chia teddy bears, puppies, kittens, rams, bulls. There's even a chia tree to keep your pets company. Chia Pets and Trees, the pottery that grows.
The Chia Pet and Chia Tree are available at Kmart, Rite Aid, Ames, and Woolworth. Makes a great gift.
Academic Integrity Week is taking place until Friday. It is a time to reinforce students' commitment to honesty and accountability. This year, the big concern is the misuse of AI. Programs such as ChatGPT and other AI tools are being used by students. Many classes have AI regulations built into their syllabi. Still, professors are using AI detectors and lockdown browsers for papers and exams.
It's critical for our students to understand the parameters and professional requirements around academic integrity, so that when they're writing papers and making citations and references, they will have guidelines in which to follow.
Professor Cumberlander will also be hosting information sessions for students on writing academic papers.
The city's only Spanish language children's bookstore has a new home near USC. The store has more than 8,000 titles, from graphic novels to picture books. La Librería is located at the corner of West Adams and Buckingham Road. 2 immigrant mothers co-founded the library. They say they noticed the need for bilingual resources at their own children's public schools.
There is a huge interest now in English speakers in educating and raising their kids bilingual. We started in 2012, and we are very fortunate to have a large community of families that support our mission and that love the idea of coming to a bookstore to read a book with their kids.
The bookstore plans to host book readings with Spanish language authors and partner with LA schools for field trips and workshops. The co-founders and bookstore curators travel across Latin America in search of books that mirror people across Los Angeles.
Thanks and happy October, Trojans! It's fall, but it sure doesn't feel like it. We're looking at a live shot of the Santa Monica Pier. You can see a few beachgoers. And Asazi, tell us the weather.
Thanks, Kofo. And yeah, the beach is definitely the best place to be today because it's hot and it's only going to get hotter. I'm Anastasia Ochoa, and this is Sazi's Weather Sizzle. Let's get into it. Checking out the current temps on campus today, we do have a comfortable 74 degrees, plenty of time for you to catch some sun on McCarthy Quad before it gets dark. Checking out the 5-day weather forecast later this week, it is going to heat up. We do have a heat advisory issued by the National Weather Service. It's going to climb up to 97 degrees tomorrow. So definitely stay hydrated. It's going to drop down to 67 and then drop down a little bit later this week. Thursday and Friday, we're going to have just an 89. But if you do notice those significant changes in the evening, so you're going to want to pack a jacket or a long sleeve like me, but not before it climbs back up again this weekend to a high of 95 on Sunday. So as with any heat advisory, your safety is #1 priority. So Trojans, remember to stay cool, stay hydrated, and wear plenty of sunscreen. That's all for weather. Let's look ahead to sports. Talk to us first.
Thank you, Zazie. The weather isn't the only thing on fire. The women's golf wrapped up their second tournament of the season and saw 2 podium finishes. Is USC a second-half team? We'll look at how the Trojans' slow start will affect the rest of the season. And we'll highlight one of USC's premier club sports, the Hellions. All that and more next on ATVN Sports.
Bonjour, je suis le grand musique.
Je suis la jeune fille.
Yes, that's French they're speaking, and no, these children aren't French, they're American. And they've acquired their amazing new language skills from Muzzy, the remarkable new video language program for children developed by the British Broadcasting Corporation. With this unique BBC language course, children learn a second language with incredible ease. 4 delightful videos quickly become their favorite TV show and teaches children the same way they learned English. Learning another language becomes fun. You'll be amazed when your children begin speaking and understanding their new language from the very first day through this unique method. The entire course, 4 videos, 2 audio cassettes, the activity book, and the parent's guide and answer book is available in French, Spanish, Italian, or German.
To order, use your credit card and call this number. We'll ship and charge you $28.08 a month for 6 months. Your satisfaction is guaranteed. Call 1-800-424-0700.
Okay, this stuff is really amazing. I mean, I put it in my mouth and I taste watermelon, but it's not just that. I taste strawberry too, but it's kind of like a watermelon-y strawberry put together. Hey, hang on. Sorry about that. And the bubbles are really awesome. I mean, that's why they call it Max, I guess. Obviously, that sort of makes sense once you think about it. Oh, I'm Dan, and that's Chuck. Hubba Bubba Max. A whole new kind of bubble. Hey!
Welcome back to ATVN Sports. I'm Drew Yoskovich.
And I'm Marissa Russ. A 38-21 win against the Wisconsin Badgers last Saturday has put the Trojans back into winning form. The Trojans will be traveling to Minneapolis to face the Minnesota Golden Gophers this Saturday. Like the Wisconsin Badgers, the Golden Gophers are unranked and USC is favored to win. But a slow first half against the Badgers last Saturday has some Trojan fans worried. Head coach Lincoln Riley admitted the first half was, quote, good, not good in any way, shape, or form, end quote. But he has full confidence in his team's abilities.
Have the first half go the way it did, and to come back and play that well just says a lot about the character of the guys in this room. And they're going to battle. We're not going anywhere. We don't panic, and that's a good quality to have, because when you play the schedule that we play, you're going to have some ups and downs, and you got to be incredibly resilient. So far, we have been that.
Compared to the past 2 Trojan football teams, this year's squad is not that far behind. Both the 2023 and 2022 teams won their first 6 games, beating notable teams such as Colorado and Arizona. So, Drew, we look at the similarities between this year's team and past teams, and taking into consideration the upcoming schedule. Do you think Trojan fans have a right to worry about the slow starts, or are we just being spoiled and insufferable?
Well, Marissa, I think we should be worried. USC's only led 1 game this year in the first half, and that was against Utah State, which was a blowout. But I think we should be worried. We didn't even lead against LSU. We tied them. It was a 10-10 before going to half. We were down 14-3 against Michigan, and we were down against Wisconsin 21-10. I think we should be worried, because if we think we're going to beat Penn State in 2 weeks and we're down, that's not happening. Plus, we have Notre Dame. No.
I love the confidence, Drew. I have to agree, it's not very promising at all, but I will say, to be a little more on the brighter side, these teams, they don't just, like Penn State, like you mentioned, they're not just going to roll over and give the game to the Trojans. And so I think they're building the resiliency, the ability to come back and make those big plays when they need to. So I think there is a reason to worry, but at the end of the day, I have faith in the Trojans. I think they can.
I really hope so.
Yeah. So for last week, our prediction was we both predicted that the Trojans would win. Drew, who do you have winning this week?
Marissa, I think we're winning this week against Minnesota, and I actually foresee us the next week beating Penn State. So I hope we win.
Same here, Drew. The Trojan fans will have to wait until Saturday to see if USC can come out swinging in Minneapolis. It will be the first time the Trojans have played at Huntington Bank Stadium in 14 years.
USC's women's golf is continuing their strong start to the season as freshman Jasmine Koo has taken home her first collegiate victory, leading the Trojans at the Windy City Collegiate Classic. Jasmine Koo wrapped up an astounding performance, claiming her first title by 5 strokes. As a team, the Trojans fought hard, finishing in 3rd place overall. Koo has now joined an elite group of Trojans who have captured a victory early in their career. The team finished 3rd overall, while Koo took 1st place. Under was Bailey Shoemaker, finished in 15th place, and Kylie Chung at 32nd. Sophomore Bailey Shoemaker and freshman Kylie Chung also put up solid performances, both finishing tied for 32nd at 6 over par. As we look at the team leaderboard, we see how the women of Troy secured that 3rd place finish, showing resilience throughout the tournament. USC has 2 weeks off before their next tournament at Stanford on October 18th. In the past 2 tournaments, the Trojans have finished on the podium, and they are looking to keep that streak going.
This week, ATVN Sports is putting a spotlight on the USC women's club frisbee team, the Hellions of Troy. The Hellions of Troy were established in 2003. The team is for women as well as non-binary Trojans who want to experience the thrills and bonds that come with ultimate frisbee. Prior experience is not required, and this year they are bringing back a second team as well. Casual ultimate frisbee play is available during the first 3 weeks of September in the Intramural League.
We actually have 2 programs this year, which is really exciting and hasn't happened for the past couple of years. So we have the Hellions, which is kind of like our competitive team that will go to a lot of tournaments in the spring. And then we also have the Cleos, which is our lower commitment team, but also super fun. And we all are kind of like a community together.
And in case you needed another reason to join the Hellions of Troy, the athletes say they give the best nicknames in the country, and they love to share Takis and bagels on tournament days.
Big news, Gonzaga is officially joining the Pac-12. The Bulldogs will be part of the conference beginning in 2026, bringing one of the best basketball programs in the nation to the Pac-12. Gonzaga, known for its powerhouse men's and women's basketball teams, is coming over from the West Coast Conference. They bring a legacy of 25 straight NCAA March Madness tournament appearances and 2 national trips to the championship game.
Like in terms of trying to improve your media rights TV deal package, what are the valuable assets that you can go after? And Gonzaga basketball is one of them. Yeah, it's just trying to get as many, like, for lack of a better term, like weapons in your arsenal that then you can have leverage. And when you go to the negotiation table with networks and whatnot, how many valuable assets can you market and offer?
Gonzaga joins the Pac-12 in 2026 with San Diego State, Colorado State, Utah State, Fresno State, Boise State, Washington State, and Oregon State for a strong regional basketball league. Gonzaga's move is sure to make a major impact in the already competitive Pac-12 in 2026. The last team to win a national championship for basketball in the Pac-12 was Arizona in 1997.
And that's all we have today at ATVN Sports. I'm Marissa Russ.
I'm Drew Yuskovich, and back to you, Kofo.
Thanks, Drew. Coming up next, we will speak live to USG members about a cause that is important to them.
Let me tell you how we amplify our Latina voices. Check out Dímelo. We have it all.
Deportes.
Entertainment. Noticias. ¿Qué tal? Soy Mariela Gómez y bienvenidos a Dímelo Ahora.
Radio and podcasting.
Comida y cultura.
Digital social media.
¿A qué equipo le vas tú? LA Galaxy o LAFC? Dímelo is the only Latina-focused media outlet at USC. Dímelo, we have it all.
Dímelo, we have it all.
Want quality name brand carpet for less?
Call Empire and you can get quality carpet at the lowest price guaranteed. And no payments for 1 year.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today.
I've replaced your shoelaces with fruit by the foot.
So you did. I replaced your fingers with fruit by the foot.
Bravo. I've replaced your bones with fruit by the foot.
Indeed you have. I replaced your guitar strings with fruit by the foot.
Seems like a step backwards, but alright. I've replaced your DNA with fruit by the foot. That would be end game, my friend.
Fruit by the foot. Fruit-flavored snack.
Today is the first day of Disability Awareness Month. USC's undergraduate student government has members standing by with Brian to discuss its initiatives for those with disabilities.
Hi, Kofo. I'm here with Rachel and Izzy of USG. They're really excited to tell us all about what they're going to be working on. Rachel, I want to ask, what does Disability Awareness Month mean to you?
It means so much to me. Essentially, accessibility is always an afterthought, so having a month to raise awareness and have everyone's voices heard is just amazing. I think that just being aware of disabilities, it's always an uncomfortable topic to talk about, so just having a safe space and for more awareness to be shared, that's like really what we're aiming to do.
And Izzy, tell me why it's important for USG to be, celebrating this month through its activities and initiatives.
Yes, of course. As Rachel was saying, it is so important for us to not only acknowledge our Trojans with a diverse range of abilities, but also just celebrate them and their contributions to the school. I know that within USG, we are actually working to pass a resolution tonight. 2 senators are co-sponsoring it alongside me to get our administration to really acknowledge the month of October for Disability Awareness Month moving forward, and to always put out a statement about what our Trojan community is doing to support our students with a diverse range of abilities.
And Rachel, you're with the Student Accessibility Assembly. What are the events that you guys are holding? Any activities or resources you guys may want to share to get the word out there to celebrate Disability Awareness Month?
Yeah, so I'm the advocacy liaison. For this month, we are hosting events on microaggression and then also a seminar on disability and relationships and how to navigate that. We are currently working on an accessible map because some of the buildings on campus, although they are accessible, the entrances are often hard to find, so we're hoping to highlight like elevators, accessible buttons, bathrooms, and everything like that. Hopefully later this year, we're also going to host a wheelchair basketball tournament, so hopefully everyone can join, so both able-bodied students and disabled students can get in sports chairs and get a feel for what that's like.
That's great, and that was actually something I wanted to ask. Like, how is it that any students, able-bodied or not, are able to join Student Accessibility Committee, but also take part in the events happening this month? Either of you.
Yeah, I think it's really important that all of our Trojans really just get involved with learning and sitting down at the table with our students that are willing to share about their lived experience with having a disability. It's really important to just show out to the events. I'm the chair of the Committee for Accessibility, and I know that on October 15th, we're bringing Tony Coelho, who wrote the American Disabilities Act, to campus to speak to students for free about what it means to actually have the ADA on campus and really, advocate for your rights as a student with a disability.
Rachel and Izzy, thank you so much for joining us today. We're going to throw it back to the studio, but I can't wait to attend this event. This sounds really great. We'll give it back to Kofo for you.
Thanks for watching Annenberg TV News. From everyone at Annenberg Media, I'm Kofo Jalao. For more coverage, watch and subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/Annenberg Media. Good night, everyone.